on, Adam? Thanks for
Good. How
doing
are
this.
you?
Yeah, just a question kind of about Kevin Harris and Deshaun Fenwick. You're a guy that's got a block for both of them. What have you seen from both of them? What makes them each an effective running back in this league, and what are the differences between the two?
I'd say they're both physical backs that are going to give it to you. Kevin's a little bigger, going to stick it on you, regardless of where he's hitting the ball. But they both are very agile. Fenwick maybe a little more so. Kevin's going to kind of pound it and lower his shoulder on you. But they're both big backs that they're going to hit the hole hard and make you pay for it.
Ben Briner.
Hey, Adam. Hope everything's going well with you. I kind of wanted to ask, in terms of the offense you guys are running this year, is it basically a lot of the same stuff as you guys were running last year in Colorado State, or have there been kind of some change-ups? And also, what was it kind of like to get a little more work on the wing at tight end this week?
It's pretty similar. We've added a few wrinkles. For the most part, though, the base plays are the same, but there's some changes. And as far as this week, it was nice to get some more work. But I'm just as fine, doing what I'm asked. How little, how much in a game, just looking to help the team win.
Josh Kendall.
Hey, Adam. What does a fullback have to do in the year 2020 to be named Offensive Player of the Week?
I'd say just execute his blocks and make plays when's asked of him. We're asked to make a lot of tough blocks in space and on the line, and so just maintaining proper leverage, hand placement, and being physical at the point of attack.
Were you surprised when they told you?
A little bit. I thought Shy and a lot of other guys had a really good game, but I'm welcome into that honor.
Will you forgive my ignorance and walk me back through your original recruiting process when you went to Colorado State and how you got there? Who else was looking at you?
So I played linebacker in high school. Played a little bit of running back, but I was undersized as to be recruited as a linebacker. So Coach Bobo and his staff contacted my high school coach about me playing fullback. And so I walked on there in 2015, was a walk-on, put on scholarship after that first year, and then played fullback for, 5 years, and then obviously transferred here and still playing. But it was between CSU. CSU was my only Division I look, and then a D3 school called RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in upstate New York, kind of similar to a Cal Poly. And then I was also looking at Cal Poly on a wrestling scholarship.
Initial thought when your high school coach said, "Hey, Colorado State wants you to play fullback." What did you think? Do fullbacks still exist?
At that point I was excited. That was my first Division I attention, and to me, the fullback is the equivalent of playing linebacker on the offensive side of the ball. So I was, I knew it was a physical position and a chance to still get the ball and make some plays, and so I was really excited.
Where does the wrestling mindset, where do wrestling and playing fullback overlap?
Similar to fullback, wrestling, you got to stay low in the stands, be physical, requires a lot of power and strength. And a lot of that, being in a wrestling stance, taking a shot, equates to, staying low and getting in a guy and blocking them and rolling your hips and driving your feet. Just like you would taking a shot and trying to finish. It was an easy transition to kind of bring those two together.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hale.
Hey, Adam, I was wondering just what you thought about Colin and how he's played these first 4 games, and is he any different from the guy that you were with out in Fort Collins?
I think he's done a great job. Being a guy that's had 3 ACLs, you'd think, he'd be a little timid, a little worried about his knee, but that kid is a tough kid, and he's mentally strong and is not worried. He knows that God's got his back, and whatever happens. But he's gonna have no fear back there, and he's gonna sling it.
Have you joked at all with him about some of the runs that he's had and all the rushing touchdowns he's scored so far?
No, I knew he was gonna do what was necessary, but nah, not really.
Mike Kuba.
Adam, what's different with this offense, these last 2 weeks in comparison to the first 2 weeks with how the execution has come along and why you guys have been able to have the success you guys have had?
I think in practice we've just taken more attention to the little details, hat placement, feet, hand placement, and just really been trying to be more intentional in practice. And the practice these last couple weeks have been really good, and it was good today. And we got to keep working. And I think guys are getting excited and having these last 2 wins, kind of showing what we're capable of. But we still got a long way to go, and we got a lot of room for improvement. But guys are getting excited and coming to work.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, and what's kind of sticking with that? What's the confidence level of this offense right now and the personnel in it? And what's maybe the next step for you guys? What do you guys have to get better at as you get ready for LSU?
I'd say our confidence level is pretty high, but like I said, we got to keep working, and we know coming in on Sundays after each game, like we left plays out there, so it's just trying to capitalize on those mistakes and have more explosive runs and passes, and just you're never going to have a perfect game, but you're always chasing that perfection.
Eric Boynton.
Yeah, I guess you've obviously been pretty close to Colin on and off field. What
Rick, you're breaking up. We didn't get that question. Let's go to Dick Cox.
You had a big reception out of the backfield this past Saturday. Do we now consider you a weapon, and can we expect to see that in more games?
I mean, we'll see. If it's called, then I'll try to get that executed. But yeah, I mean, we got a couple of those in every week. So just a matter of whether I'm open or whether something else is open behind me. So, I mean, yeah, if it's there, it was there.
Eric, you want to try it again?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay now? Hello?
You're good.
Still nothing.
All right, we could hear you, Eric. But...
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, just what are some? I know you obviously Colin Hill well on and off the field. What are some of maybe your favorite qualities, or what are some of his more impressive qualities, maybe both as a football player and as a person?
He's a great leader, both on the field and as well as off the field. Particularly, I'd say in his faith. He's a devout Christian and is very upfront with that, and is not willing or is not afraid to have a conversation with you about that, and that's something I truly respect. And on the field, he's going to bring guys along and is a good leader, and is going to put his arm around your shoulder and coach you up and just have conversations with you about life, about your family, about football, about anything, just about anything you need. And he's a great guy.
Go back to David.
Adam, looking ahead a little bit, after LSU, you guys will have a couple of days off, and then a couple of days off later in the week is the bye week. Are you planning to go home? And if so, or if not, how do you plan to keep all the COVID protocols in place?
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think anybody's allowed to go home. I think if you left the state, we'd have to quarantine. Not 100% sure about that, but I'm planning to stay, and I think a lot of guys are, to get some necessary recovery and stuff. But right now we're focused on getting the win this Saturday and then worrying about that after the fact.
Take 2 more, Ben, then Josh.
Going back a little bit when you were talking about your kind of recruitment, did you strongly consider Cal Poly in wrestling at all, or was it just kind of once Division I football came in, that was kind of it? And also, were your families affected at all by the wildfires in California that were happening the past few months?
So in terms of Cal Poly, I did consider it. I went on a visit, took a visit there, but at the end of the day, it came down to I had more love for football, and that was something I dreamed of doing since I was a little kid. And once I got that opportunity to play at CSU, it was something I jumped at. And in terms of wildfires, fortunately, my family directly wasn't affected, but you know, we've known friends and extended family that were affected, and unfortunately, but those fires have been brutal and unfortunately are still going.
The last question goes to Josh.
Adam, do you take any pride in playing what has become a throwback position these days, or is that not something that really registers or much with you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun watching pro games now and seeing more teams welcoming in the fullback, and it's kind of exciting. You know, looking forward a little bit to see what could be my future. But I do like playing fullback and playing something that, you know, is not common and adds an extra wrinkle for the defenses to have to worry about.
You clearly have the strong tech interest. What are you planning on doing after football with your degrees?
Yeah, so I got an undergrad degree in civil engineering, and then right now I'm working on a master's in structural engineering with a railroad engineering certificate. So I want to take that and do structural design, so designing bridges and buildings and various structures.
What's the concept the engineering concept that you think this group of people that you're talking to would be least likely to understand?
Geez, I don't know. I mean, there's so much involved that, I mean, heck, I don't know. That's tough because it's like I mean, you know, that's a lot of steps to. I say one thing and then it's like I gotta explain the 50 steps before that just to explain the one thing. So that's tough.
Engineering and that stuff.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
What got you interested in engineering in that field?
Yeah, so I mean, just growing up, I was a big tinkerer. As my mom would say, I would stand there and start twisting the doorknob, kind of staring at it, figuring out why it moved as it did. And I loved playing with Legos when I was growing up, and you know, building what the box intended it to be, and then tearing it down and building whatever my imagination came up with. So I love just tinkering and stuff and building things that I saw.